LRN.FM in the VertCoin studio. I've got in the studio with me today, actually, Mr. Chris Wade. What's up, Chris?
Hey.
From
Beautiful day out.
Penguin. It is a beautiful day outside. But also, live via remote, we've got with us Miss Aria Demezio from cryptocurrencycheck.org. How you doing, Aria? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Hi, there you are.
Hi.
And also on the horn, we've got Chelsea Snyder from the Vora Method. What's up, Chelsea?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Another beautiful day in the life. Can't complain. So we've got a pretty big day for you here. Very, very behind. Sorry about that for our Twitch users who... ooh, wait. Did I actually turn that on? I may not have. I don't know. Something happened. Traffic lights suck.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a little longer getting here than we had hoped it would be. But there's, oh my God, man, the stories that are out today. You know what? I think this, I think this bears mentioning on the air. I spent most of my days arguing with leftists, liberals, and Democrats over whether or not the 16-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter of Anwar al-Awlaki were justifiable murders at the hands of the U.S. government simply because Obama did it, and why those children's murders didn't warrant protest. And the reason was because, well,
you need a new hobby, man.
They were possibly terrorists.
Wow. Sounds like my weekend with a bunch of lefties, too.
I just, like, wait, what?
I had
9-year-old?
No,
it wasn't. What?
I had a different conversation, but similar.
What's has partisanship literally dropped this country to the level that? Well, maybe you know what? I don't even think it's a question anymore. Partisanship has brought this country to the level that we actually argue over which children we should be angry about being murdered.
Yep, absolutely.
That's insane.
It is.
That's American politics. And somebody told me, they were like, "Oh, well, you know, this girl, the gender fluid, bald-headed Cuban, she's a girl when they're defending her, like, how dare you attack a little girl?" But she's gender fluid. Like, I don't know. Like, the left really kind of, like, all of those labels really depend on the context at that very moment. So, like, she's not a girl if you're saying something about the fact that she's a Cuban with a shaved head. But if you're attacking her for her political views, she's a little girl. So, I mean, it's like, you know, which one is which? I don't really know.
Very confusing.
It is, you know, like these things they're important depending on who's actually saying it.
And the other,
I mean, all of that crap is just made up. So, I mean, they just kind of make it up on the spot and just keep adding more and more to it. It's like the little kid who told a lie and then just kept adding more and more to it because he couldn't just accept the reality that what he said in the first place had no truth to it.
You know what else is we have a certain commonality and understanding, and when you start to introduce new words into the language, which is what's happening, it can be difficult to get a hold of when you're not even interacting with. There's not a huge population to interact with, so it's very difficult to grasp and pick that language up. If there were more people who were around, if it was a larger population, you know, you might be able to pick the words up, but I don't know, you can't.
Well, I mean, it would help if they weren't putting like Alkin up on the same respectability level as being trans or being gay, but they do.
Furries.
So, I mean, yeah, they will actually legitimately tell you that they are an owl or a cat or whatever trapped in a human's body, and they expect you to
treat them
respect
as such.
that and to
you know, like the grown
say, okay,
man,
well,
he's like
cat.
a 4-year-old girl named, I don't know, Shirley, and he has like a curly Shirley Temple wig, and he wears lipstick, and he dresses up, and he wears a diaper, and you know, like.
Okay, this is going farther than I've ever heard it taken, but I'm also not very how do I say this? I don't interact with
Right. You're just a co-host. You don't have to host the show. It's like,
Yeah, it goes way further than that, though.
I only have to wade through this manure once a week. Whereas, for some of us, it's 5 days a week.
Where are you guys coming across this stuff? Is this like news, or do you actually know people like
news?
This?
I feel like stuff floats around on Facebook too. That's like, I mean, Facebook is just a cesspool
like you have
these
news
days,
stories
but,
where like
But
the
yeah,
local
it
media
does.
has gone to these people's houses and they're like, so we heard this about you and we were kind of perplexed and thought it was really weird, and is it true? And they're like, yeah,
Right.
come on in, let me show you how I changed my girlfriend's diapers. Oh, by the way, she's 28 and has absolutely no physical ailment or anything wrong with her whatsoever other than she's a little nutty and wants to wear diapers.
Well, that just sounds like a
little
fetish.
nutty is not the same.
That just sounds
No,
like
there are people who like think that they are just like act like house furniture and stuff, and they want to be sat on. And I'm like, that's not
I
like.
mean, that's a
an
little nutty.
identity.
Oh, there's a
Like, what?
story at the local
is-
nut house back where I lived. It's like the drug rehab center and stuff, about a kid who ate too much acid and now he thinks he's a glass of orange juice. I don't know if that's just an urban myth at every high school, or if it really is just where I live at Peninsula.
Dude, I wish that my high school had urban myths that awesome.
Oh yeah, we had a kid supposedly he ate too much acid, and now he was at the Peninsula Rainbow Center for the rest of his life, and he thinks that he's a glass of orange juice. You can't bump into him. He doesn't. He has to. You have to sedate him to get him to lay down and sleep, because if he tips over, he'll spill.
That's a lot of detail. Like, either kids were really, really invested in making that like a legit myth, or that's a true story.
I don't know.
How do you make
But
that
honestly,
stuff up?
I think
don't know
kids are like
which I
pretty
would like
invested in
better.
making stuff up. Yeah, kind of.
I mean, it was high school, Kids are
Yeah, kids get pretty creative.
Pretty invested in the falsehoods that they spin for each other at 14 to 17, which is why we should have them on national television and in trying to get them to influence national public policy and in the discussion over whether or not certain rights exist.
Obviously.
It's definitely a brilliant
Especially
idea.
when they have never read the Constitution and don't even really understand rights whatsoever, or the difference between positive and negative rights, or any of it.
See, the
We should
problem
definitely
is
have
the
them.
problem is millennial. You and the baby boomers and the Gen Xers, y'all don't know how to democracy right.
Yeah. No. We don't know how to socialism
seems right.
We just got to try socialism
The way you
again.
do it is like Lenin. You take over, and if the people who oppose you won't give you your way, you just take over and burn this bitch down.
Oh, cool.
Just take it. That's how you democracy right. You just get all the force of government and smash it down on the other side while you lecture them about how they are literally Hitler. Now, when we get back here, I got a story that we wanted to get into. Left, right, center, public radio, Fox News, CNN, everybody is talking about this. Omar Mateen, the shooter in Orlando, father, FBI informant. Who saw this coming? I don't know. Probably everybody. Give us a call if you want to get involved. 603-283-6160. We'll be right back.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Despite a long-held consensus pointing to the mid-20s as the final stage of brain maturation, a new study has found that the adolescent brain doesn't fully form until boys have avenged their father's murder.
New imaging studies suggest that the frontal cortex goes through extensive changes during the period of training when an adolescent boy prepares himself to track down and kill the man who took his father's life. But it's not until the boy stares deep into the murderer's eyes and then stabs him right in the heart that the two lobes fuse into a fully mature brain.
According to Dr. Laurie's findings, the myelin surrounding the teenage nerve synapses develops when boys stake out the home of their father's murderer, put themselves through grueling physical training, and fantasize again and again about how satisfying it will be when he finally makes the bastard who took everything from him beg for his life.
Now, if they let their father's killer slip through their grasp, or if they press the barrel of a gun to the back of his head and then realize they don't have what it takes to pull the trigger, then the amygdala is definitively stunted, and they'll have lifelong problems interpreting emotional information.
This is the Onion News Network. Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.fm. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.fm.
All right, welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.fm. Brought to you live from the Vertcoin studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. It is a wonderful, wonderful day outside today. It's in the 40s. Couldn't really ask for a better day in the middle of March, end of March, I guess now, up here in New Hampshire. It's better than the snow that, people
I'm
are
liking
digging.
this warming weather.
You got people in Texas and Oklahoma digging out from under a feet of snow right now. So don't tell me about how you can't move to New Hampshire because, you don't like the weather. But speaking of that, we've got this great crypto community here. You were just talking about the fact that, you really the only reason you weren't able to go get a really great indie Pakistani, got to make sure I say it right, Pakistani curry dish was the tablet wasn't charged up all the way.
Yeah.
But you like I said, you can come here if your car breaks down.
But he just started. I mean, this is like
First
I was like
new business.
his second customer. So
yep, new business just added to the growing list, like more active cryptocurrency accepting businesses, truthfully, than anywhere else in the U.S. right here. We keep telling you guys you should come and visit, and there's a great opportunity for you to do so coming up. You can join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians this summer from June 14th through June the 18th for ForkFest 2018 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Now, ForkFest is a fork of other camping parties in the woods, and you're invited to come and create whatever experience you would like others to have. ForkFest is completely decentralized, which means nobody's in charge, so everyone is. It's up to you to create what happens. Or you could just simply kick back and relax with some other liberty-loving friends in the woods. Go over to forkfest.party to learn more, join the forum, or join the Telegram chat. That's forkfest.party. The fork of liberty parties in the woods. So the story here, and it's everywhere. I mean, you can check the New York Post, you can check NPR, you can check CNN, you can check Fox News. And, you know, the spin isn't even really particularly different either. But it turns out, the conspiracy theorists were right. I remember hearing years ago, they were like, oh, well, you know, that Mateen guy that shot up that Orlando place, his father's got big connections with the feds. And I was like, you know, that just sounds like one more of those, you know, Free Thought Project conspiracy theories, you know, just one more Alex Jones, the frogs are turning the water gay, you know, or whatever it is, you know, just one more harebrained thing. And I just kind of ignored it. And now literally in federal court, it has been admitted that the father of the Orlando shooter was an FBI asset. And here we're gonna listen to a little bit of coverage of that by CNN. I think we are. Okay. Maybe not.
Brianna, this is a real stunner here because this trial had been underway for almost a week now. The prosecution had pretty much wrapped up its case last Friday. Today was going to be and is the first day of the defense taking up the case. However, over the weekend, late last night, the defense files a motion in which they say they learned over the weekend from the prosecution that the father of the mass shooter here is an FBI informant. And then on top of that, we're talking about Sadiq Mateen, is also now under investigation by the FBI for some questionable money transfers to Afghanistan and to Turkey, the suggestion being that money was being used for not so good purposes. So the defense is saying, hey, wait a minute, you are required under the Constitution of the United States to provide all information that the prosecution has that could be used for the defense of Noor Salman here. They say that the government purposely held back the information that the father of the mass shooter was an FBI informant here.
Well, here's the bigger story, though. Now, knowing that her rights had been violated on that level, the judge denied the motion for dismissal by lawyers for the widow of the Pulse gunman after they said new details from the prosecutors revealed the shooter's father was an FBI informant currently under investigation for funneling money to ISIS via Turkey. And this is all not news at all to people who have been looking at all these shootings that are popping up all of a sudden and going, this is kind of weird, man. Like, this never really happened before. And if it did, like, there are even like statistics are like, oh, well, it did and it happened a lot. Nobody cared when at least before. Like, it wasn't newsworthy. I mean, were the bloody 90s so violent that school shootings were under the radar? That these mass shooting type events were flying under the radar? Wasn't that when Columbine was? Do what?
Wasn't that when Columbine was?
Columbine
that's when it really kicked off.
Columbine was my senior year in high school.
Sounds about right.
And for those of us who don't know what year you graduated,
you know what it seems like it happened? It seems like in the inner cities there was a gun problem, but there wasn't a mass shooting problem. And now we've gone from not so much being a gun problem, but being just a mass shooting problem. But I'm not even sure if it's been that significant.
Well, the statistics say that the number of deaths, gun violence, all of those statistics are all going down, and they've been on a downward trajectory for quite some time.
You know what boggles my mind is we haven't had that many mass shootings, and also even if we had, it's trivial relative to the number of murders that the United States government commits overseas of schools and children and innocent civilians. So why should I care?
I think that's called deflecting the argument, though.
Well, check this out, yo.
It's just you got to keep things in perspective. Like if we're killing millions of people overseas that are innocent children and mothers and things like that, why is it, when we're only seeing, I don't know how many deaths, but it's not that many. Like there's so many other issues that if we're so concerned about death and people getting killed, why are we focusing on this?
Yeah, but we're not. We're concerned with the sensationalism, and we're trying to use the sensationalism to pass nonsense laws to take away, the rights of Americans. So if they were actually concerned about, the well-being of students, then they would look at things like, the suicide rates and all this stuff. I mean, they would actually do something about the program that is causing students to want to commit suicide and mass murders, which is the school system itself. But they're not trying to do that because they don't care about student lives. They care about the sensationalism, which is going to lead them to be able to pass gun control laws. So it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Which makes it even the more ironic, that you've got all of these students like marching for it, and they're like, yeah, they really care about us. They don't give a crap about you.
They don't care about you. It's like the Muslims. I was criticizing them today. They're, these lefties, I'm going, nobody cared about dead children when Obama was making Afghan and Pakistani children scared to play outside. When that statement was made before the U.S. Congress, it was made before three members of a 9-member commission that bothered to show, and other than that, a giant empty room.
What about the put down a Muslim day thing that happened here recently?
We'll get into that a little bit later when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.FM. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the Vertcoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And it's another wonderful day here. We've been talking about this story here about the Orlando nightclub shooter. It turns out that his father was a federal spook. The email, getting back into it, says here, the email stated that Siddiqui Mateen, the father of Omar Mateen, was a confidential FBI source at various points between January of 2005 and June 2016, the month of the shooting at the Pulse nightclub. So there you go, folks. I mean, it's pretty obvious that there's at least the, what's the word I'm looking for? The appearance of something dirty and validation of these conspiracy theories that we've heard about about every one of these major death events, mass shooting events, that it's somehow the government is either involved or knew about it and, like 9/11, just allowed it to happen because it served a greater purpose that the government had. Now we've got on the line with us, we've got Rob from Vermont. How you doing, Rob? What do you think and why do you think it?
Oh, how you doing, Will?
I'm good.
All right. Well, I want to kind of take the story in a different direction of what you guys are talking about. I don't know if you've called on NPR. They said that a retired Chief Justice, Justice Stevens, he's 92 years old.
Republican.
And this guy, he's advocating and is calling for a repeal of the complete Second Amendment rights.
Is that surprising to you?
Yeah. I mean, this guy is out of his fucking mind.
Wow. A Republican.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What do you expect, man? I mean, these people are not our allies. No matter how much they fake it, they're not our allies.
I'm just amazed at what
Republicans
hypocrites,
are not pro-liberty, man.
what
They are
hypocrites
pro-state
we
control.
have as politicians on both sides.
Yeah. The only time a major gun control legislation has ever been passed has been under a Republican president.
Really?
The Brady bill was under Reagan and Bush. And the only time that we've ever rounded up people based on race or ethnicity was under a Democrat. So
this is interesting. It says 97-year-old Stevens writes that a constitutional amendment to get rid of the Second Amendment would do more to weaken the NRA's ability to stymie legislative debate and block constructive gun control legislation than any other available option. So that's his reasoning.
How old did you say this guy was?
In his
97.
90s.
You'd
Yeah,
really
I-
expect someone to have developed a little sense by the time they reach that age.
Well, you know,
I mean, especially the
want
things
my
he must have lived
political
through.
advice
Or
from
how-
some
yeah,
guy
how do
who's
you live to
crapping
be
his
that age
pants and
while being
can't
so
feed
dumb?
himself as much as I want
I
it from a
think-
teenager.
Well, if you ask me, I think that this guy, he's got a mental health issue.
He's 97 years old. Of course he has a mental health issue. I don't know many people that are that
He
old
just
that are
don't, he
not
don't know what the
developing
hell he's
dementia.
fucking saying.
Watch
To be fair, he does. So he calls the NRA a propaganda weapon of immense power, which I don't entirely disagree with. I mean, these organizations do create a lot of propaganda and they do have a lot of power, but getting rid of the Second Amendment is not the answer to that.
Rob, you just made me dumb. You got to stop.
I don't know. Maybe they've been giving him the wrong medication too long.
Wow.
You know, I mean, there's got to be something wrong. Why would anybody want to advocate, to repeal the complete Second Amendment law and leave everyone completely vulnerable?
I don't know. Go to that march that was happening in D.C. this weekend and ask them there. We'll talk to you later, Rob. Thanks for calling in. So, yeah, I mean, there's pictures all over the web now of people that were there with signs that were very open about. One of them was like, as a matter of fact, I'd be happy to pry it from your cold, dead hand. Well, wait, what?
Sounds like the dangerous person is
How is
not
she
the person
going
with
to,
the gun here.
Yeah, but how is she going to, make that person dead if the other person has a gun and she doesn't?
She's
not. That's
she's
the
not.
that's
she's
the
not
flaw
logical.
in
She's
their
not
logic
thinking
that
here.
they seem totally unable to grasp.
There is no logic here.
It's back to that thing that I said like weeks ago. With Republicans, it's immigration, and with liberals, it's gun control. Don't ever expect to have a conversation based on facts and logic with those two groups about those two issues.
Yeah, but it's not just those two issues either.
Well, and it's not. There are other issues as well, but I think those are the two issues where facts are openly rejected the most, proudly rejected the most.
Yeah, because I mean, if someone has a gun and they're doing something bad, you're not going to stop them by offering them a freaking cup of coffee.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally had people
Let's
tell
go to
me,
Starbucks.
You can keep
not
your
gonna
facts
happen.
and your gobbledygook, and literally say it exactly like that. You can keep your facts and your gobbledygook. Meaning,
You're speaking
I'm
from experience.
totally going to base this on emotion, not even going to be coy about it. I don't care if the facts back up what I'm saying. You could show me 1,000,000 pages worth of documentation that I'm wrong. And people are like this now. This is our political discourse in America.
Yeah, it reminds me of some of the Think of the Children type laws where it's like, oh, if it saves even one child, it's worth it. Oh, yeah, what about the 60,000 you kill as a result? It's like,
yeah, but that's different. It's okay.
It makes absolutely no sense.
Well,
no, it's not. It's not utilitarianism. It's just whatever is the most exciting or sensational.
Whatever's the most trendy at the moment.
Yeah.
Whatever's in. What's cool right now? That's what I want to believe. What's
Guns
the TV?
are not cool. Let's get rid of them.
What's the
Especially
TV talking about today?
I mean, it does scare me, the overwhelming liberal bent that people under 30 have. And, I've heard that that's always been the case, and that I think it was Mark Twain who even said if you're not a liberal when you're young, then you have no heart, and if you're not conservative when you're old, then you have no brain. So maybe that trend is always true. But
Well,
it's
that's just because I
concerning when
have
you
no
look
heart.
around.
Well, what's concerning when you look around is that in Samuel Clemens' day, people were raised and taught critical thinking. So by the time they became 40 years old, they had critical thinking skills and were no longer liberals. And that's not happening anymore. We're not teaching people critical thinking skills. So when they hit 40, they are just as stupid as they were when they were 16. I know I have family members that are literally the same people they were at 14 and 15 years old, and they're anywhere from 32 to 51.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah,
hit
and then you-
97, and they think it will be simple to just amend the Constitution and take out the Second Amendment.
Yeah, exactly, right?
And they get on Facebook.
Literally simple.
Sure. Yeah.
And they get on Facebook to post like Arbenz and pretend that and can't understand simple analogies. And
Well,
think
you've got
that,
a sheriff
they're
in Orange
literal
County.
statements.
You've got a sheriff in Orange County that's advocating for it as well.
Advocating for what?
He wants
Gun
guns
control?
taken away. He wants everybody no
but,
guns.
but not from the
No
police
guns.
officers.
Are they going to
Not
give
from
up their
him.
guns?
No, not from them.
No, of course not.
From you.
No.
Okay.
From you. So
Okay,
they-
so
No,
I mean,
just
he's
us.
basically Hitler.
Well, because he doesn't want you shooting his officer in the chest when he does a no-knock raid on the wrong house. And throws
But
a,
he's not going to mind if his officer shoots you in the chest.
Well, no, of course
But can I
not.
have the fake gun that they're going to plant on me after they shoot me?
Well,
Is that
everybody,
against the law?
everybody knows slaves can only criticize other slaves.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday, and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Angel Clark, and you're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.fm.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And I'm joined in the studio today by Mr. Chris Wade, our tech guy from Think Penguin. Give me a website real quick, Chris.
www.thinkpenguin.com.
All right. And we've also got with us from the Vora Method and the Libertarian Party of Maryland, Miss Chelsea Snyder. And, the Queen of Crypto herself, Miss Aria Demezio from cryptocurrencycheck.org. And we've been talking about the story. Well, we kind of a mix between like gun control discussion and the story that's come out. Like I said, it's literally everywhere. A judge has dismissed a motion to drop the case against the widow of the Pulse gunman because Saturday, so literally a full week into the trial, the feds decide to pony up the information. Oh, by the way, the father of the shooter was for 11 years an FBI informant and is currently under investigation for funding a terrorist organization via an American ally. Wow, that's a lot to unpack. And they literally tell them this the day before they are supposed to mount her defense in federal court. But that's not the scariest part, though. This quote right here, this is the quote that should really scare the hell out of you. Quote, "I have just been authorized to disclose the following information to you about Siddiqui Mateen. If you should call S. Mateen to the stand, the government will not seek to elicit any of this information from him." You were probably not going to tell her. That's what that tells me. Like, had the authorization not come through, the prosecution would have never told the defense.
Yeah.
And nobody's outraged about that at all.
They're supposed to.
People are supposed to be pissed off and burning down the federal building right now over it too, but they're not. They're busy yelling and screaming about whether or not their neighbor should be allowed to have a fancy looking 9mm, basically.
There is so much stuff to be pissed off about. We're no longer surprised. We're no longer shocked. We no longer have the energy to get pissed off. I don't know. It's absolutely
I would
insane.
agree with that. I mean, this news is really messed up, and I'm like,
It's completely, the amount of bullshit has just completely obliterated our senses.
Says here, according to Miss Salman's attorneys, quote, "It's apparent from the government's belated disclosure that Miss Salman's been defending a case without a complete set of facts and evidence that the government was required to disclose." The attorney further wrote that had they known that Siddiqui Mateen was an FBI informant, they may have argued one or two theories with strong support. One, Omar Mateen and his father, rather than Miss Salman, conspired to support ISIS. Or two, the FBI's focus on Miss Salman was based on its own motive to avoid responsibilities for its failures with one of its own informants,
Absolutely 100%
Siddiqui
was.
Mateen, as well as his son. Siddiqui Mateen was on the prosecutor's witness list, but not called to testify during trial.
Yeah, and the lack of providing that information backs up and, hardens that the belief or the reason to believe that's very likely possible.
Well, Mateen spoke to CNN's Don Lemon in the days after and said that he was shocked to learn. I'm shocked, as you are, because I didn't notice. As I always said, the past 2 days, I didn't notice anything, any irregular behavior on his part or emotional behavior on his part. He didn't get my attention, just being not normal. If I did notice that, I would have taken care of him myself. I would have called the law enforcement. Well, yeah, because you're a Fed. You're a spook. And that calls into question because Mateen was pulled in and there were reports made against Mateen on more than one occasion. And he was investigated and let go. Investigated and let go.
Even just barely preceding the event.
Yeah. So were the feds trying to protect an asset in his father by not going after Mateen? Hoping,
I think they were just trying to protect their own face.
Yeah, reputation sounds more likely.
Yeah,
because they like ditched.
What I'm
Sadiq
saying is, if they pick him up, that will eventually have it come out that the father works with the feds, and then they look bad. So that's what I'm saying. Like they're protecting that asset. They don't want that asset to be found out because when that asset's found out, it'll be like, oh, so you have assets in the U.S. and their children are actual freaking terrorist attack planners. I mean,
so that does bring up an interesting question, though, which is why has the information come out suddenly now? Like they would only really, if they held on to it for so long, they would only really release it if they either thought that it was going to come out naturally and they wanted to get ahead of it, or if something else is going on, like they're changing the game that they're playing suddenly. I don't think that the story has really mentioned anything as to why it was coming out now. So it does seem kind of strange, actually, that it is coming out at all.
I know. Well, again, you know what? The Free Thought Project and all those other type websites, they were already talking about this 2 years ago, about him being a federal asset. All of these like conspiracy theory websites and all that stuff, they were already talking about this kind of stuff. So, now we do have a caller on the line. We have quite a young guy. His name is Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. What do you think, and why do you think it?
I just wanted to ask what the podcast was about, and if it was a political podcast, because I do have a few points, even though I am young.
Yeah,
awesome.
sure. Well,
I would love to hear them.
Yeah, well, we're not really a podcast. We do radio and internet radio and video and all other kinds of stuff.
We do have a podcast, though.
We also have a podcast, so you're being recorded for that podcast, which will be released tomorrow morning. But we talk about politics. We talk about cryptocurrencies.
Oh wait, I don't. If it's recorded, I'd rather not. I don't want to be like. I respect your decision. I won't ask my question, but like I don't want to. If that's okay.
Well, we can. I can't say for sure, but I imagine we could, just not upload this episode or edit it out.
Yeah, we would have to not record the show for other people to listen to at a later time. That's what we do. We record the entire show, and then people can download it that didn't get to listen to it live.
But we could get Daryl to edit out your questions if you would like.
Or you can post questions on the Discord chat
Yeah, you
as
can
well,
also
right? And
post questions on the Discord chat as well. It's a lot more
I will
anonymous.
ask my question, but will my number have to?
Your number's not. No, nobody knows your number or anything. No, it's just you and your voice. No, nobody knows your number.
I can. I'm a right-leaning. I mean, I am very young, but I think that in this day and age, we have to adapt to it. So I am right-leaning. I am not pro-choice, but I am pro gay marriage. No, I'm not gay, and I'm not saying that everyone should be gay. I'm just saying I don't think that
it's any of the state's business.
Gay people should be discriminated against, and I think that, if they're not hurting anyone, they should do it. But
that's a very adult sentiment.
Right now. A really heated topic right now is gun control, and I think that it's very controversial because we got people on the other side, like from the ghetto, who say, "Oh, I wanna use the gun to protect my family. That's the only way I can." But then we got other people who, like the Parkland victims or friends of victims, who say, "I don't want that to happen." So it's very, very, very controversial. But I honestly think that we should have stricter. I'm not saying to take away guns out, because that is an amendment, the Second Amendment, right to bear arms. But I don't think that they should take it out fully, because because they just need stronger training. I don't think that you should just be able to pick up a gun.
All right, well, we're going to have to let you go, bud, because it's the end of the segment.
Join Daryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio as he brings you news, views, and opinions while promoting the ideas of peaceful interaction.
My personal position on the death penalty is this. We know for a fact that there have been hundreds of people who have been wrongly convicted for various offenses. People who were wrongly convicted of murder and who were sentenced to death, who have later been exonerated. And from that, we can deduce that there have been innocent people who were executed for crimes they did not commit. And the fact that I do consider myself to be consistently pro-life, I don't support using taxpayer funds to kill any human at all, anywhere. Using any money that is taken by force and then used to murder people is wrong.
Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, March 27th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,348 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,955. Antiwar.com reports U.S. military involvement in Yemen doesn't often get a lot of attention, and that's by design. Involvement in the Saudi invasion, despite being well documented, is increasingly controversial and has the Pentagon on the defensive with opposition in Congress. But joint U.S.-UAE operations in Yemen are something different, as they focus not on fighting Shiite forces, but on the Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula forces in the south. These are not wholly disconnected conflicts, as the Saudi invasion and the focus on the Shiites gave Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Arabian Peninsula the opening to seize substantial territory around the country. U.S. officials are eager to hype the UAE operations because they're against al-Qaeda. Defense Secretary James Mattis presents the operation as a model for the region, and other officials try to present it as vindication for U.S. involvement in Yemen. The al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula fight, however, is more drone strikes than naval blockades, starving millions. The UAE is also very eager to hype this cooperation, saying it proves the majority of their own military forces that the U.S. is willing to cooperate with them so closely. The UAE has been spending massive money increasing the military size and looking at more regional wars, conflicts they probably envision U.S. will also be involved with. As far as the current partnership goes, there is little reason to believe the U.S. won't be up for more wars.
For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports Linda Brown, who was the center of the Brown v. Board of Education case that helped desegregate public schools in the United States, has died. She was 76. Brown was 8 years old when her father, Oliver Brown, attempted to enroll her in a whites-only public school near their home in Topeka, Kansas, but the school denied her entry and said she had to go to the blacks-only school further away. Oliver Brown responded by filing a lawsuit against the state, which was then joined with similar lawsuits in several other states before the cases appeared before the Supreme Court as the landmark Brown v. Board of Education. In 1954, the Supreme Court ruled in the plaintiff's favor, saying segregation is a denial of equal protection of the laws.
Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
Reuters reports an emergency fuel shutoff switch had been accidentally tripped moments before a fatal crash of a helicopter in New York's East River on March 11th, according to a pilot speaking to the National Transportation Safety Board in a preliminary report released on Monday. The Eurocopter AS-350, chartered by Liberty Helicopters of New Jersey, crashed, killing all 5 passengers after a private photo shoot trip over New York City. The pilot, who escaped, also told the NTSB that the engine trouble started shortly after a passenger slid across the seat and leaned back to take a picture. The pilot also said he saw part of a passenger's restraint harness underneath the switch as the aircraft was going down. The pilot said he was committed to impact, and when he reached down for the emergency fuel shutoff lever, he realized that it was in the off position. The NTSB said the pilot told investigators that as the craft was flying along the eastern side of Central Park, the front seat passenger turned sideways, slid across the double bench seat towards the pilot, leaned back, and extended his foot to take a photograph of his feet outside the helicopter. The engine trouble began shortly after that, according to the pilot, who also said he briefly considered landing in Central Park, but there were too many people. The FAA on March 16th ordered an end to all so-called doors-off helicopter rides unless passengers are equipped with quick-release restraints. 2 of the 5 passengers died at the scene, and 3 were taken to local hospitals where they died later. Officials said they had been tightly harnessed, and their harnesses had to be cut and removed to free them. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
America is at a crossroads on many issues, leading many to ask, is it time for the president to blow the silver horn left behind by the Founding Fathers in case the country ever needed them? Of course, the horn, which has been sitting in the Oval Office since 1817, has never been used by a commander-in-chief, but many Americans think now might be the time to summon our forefathers. Which Founding Fathers would come back?
All of them. Look, when you have a bug problem, you call the exterminator. When you have an America problem, you call the Founding Fathers. They know what to do.
We have to keep in mind the Founding Fathers left us with a warning. If you blow the horn with less than pure intentions, it will turn to tin and can never be used.
But a president has to take risks, have the courage to admit that his administration is not all-knowing, and blow that magic silver horn to summon someone who is.
Yes, but what if we become too reliant on them and they disappear after the next new moon, as was written?
This is the Onion News Network.
The Call to Freedom is an opinion show. It's meant for informational purposes only. It is not licensed financial advice. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear from the Call of Freedom and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. I mean, come on, guys. Duh. It's a cryptocurrency investment and a political talk radio. Of course, it's opinions.
Hold. Hold. Hold.
You better hold on for dear life, because it's time for the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com on the Call to Freedom.
That's right. It's time for the Crypto Hour here on the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Are you new to the crypto game? Do you not even know what a candle graph is, let alone want to spend your entire day having to watch them, read them? Well, let me introduce you to Helium. It's a savings accelerator. And the way that it works is they've designed a bot, and it watches the values between regular fiats and cryptos at the same time. That way it can move your money when the timing's just right. It's powered by Uphold.com. It's really simple. You just load up your account using a bank card or your own digital wallet, and then you just set it and forget it. It's like a crock pot for cryptocurrency. It's completely automatic. Helium, it lets your money move you. So go on over to helium.com/CTF and get a great deal for being a Call to Freedom listener. That's Helium with an E, HELEUM.com/CTF. And now we've got some good news or bad news or I don't know what kind of news here, but Tom was really excited about it when he sent me the story today. Tennessee, my home state, has signed a bill that will legally recognize blockchain data and smart contracts under state law.
What does that even mean?
Well, Governor Bill Haslam signed a measure on Thursday, public records show, capping a months-long process that saw Tennessee become the latest U.S. state to pursue such legislation. According to data from Legiscan, the bill had sailed through the legislature since its introduction in January, passing both chambers unanimously. As introduced, the bill explains, quote, as introduced, it recognizes the legal authority to use blockchain technology and smart contracts in conducting electronic transactions, protects ownership rights of certain information secured by blockchain technology, end quote. The law also recognizes...
This seems really strange.
Why
they're taking the ability to write and enforce contracts out of the hands of attorneys by doing this.
Well, the law also recognizes smart contracts as having legal power. Oh, wow. So this is in violation of another law that they passed not long ago, stating that, quote, no contract relating to a transaction shall be denied legal effect, validity, or enforceability solely because that contract contains a smart contract term. This law is similar to efforts in Florida and Nebraska to store legal information on a blockchain. However, the Florida bill, quote, died on calendar, filings show. While the Nebraska bill has not yet been voted on by the full assembly, it remains unclear when the Nebraska legislature will move for a full vote. Arizona's governor signed a similar measure into law last May. So, but now this blatantly violates their Tennessee laws for Tennessee courts, or American laws for Tennessee courts, which states that this is not based on American jurisprudence. It's based on a blockchain. Their contracts are built around the blockchain. Well, according to Tennessee state law, contracts can only be based on United States law, not on the blockchain. So now you've got two laws that are completely in contention with each other. The purpose, of course, was to target Muslims, so that if you got married in a Muslim country, your marriage contract is basically worthless.
I mean, having two laws conflict with each other, I mean, that's kind of what the government does. I mean, that's how they get away with all of their crap. Like the IRS tax code. You know, it constantly conflicts with itself, but you can find something in there to support whatever legal shenanigans you want to pull.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the law is crazy. I'm
surprised by this, though.
I'm not. I mean, they pass laws that conflict with each other all the time.
Well, this is what the state does.
I'm surprised that they, you know.
Well, basically, I think this is another one of those things where it's like, okay, we need to pass a law, a Bitcoin law of some kind to satisfy the masses. So,
yeah, but I mean, the people writing these laws are lawyers. I mean, they've done their time writing up contracts and getting them signed with 4,000 pages of legalese and things like that. That's how a lot of them made their money.
I'm trying to figure out who's behind it and what's their incentive. Like, why do they even want this?
Who's lobbying?
Yeah, like who's lobbying for it? Who wrote the law? Or bill, I guess.
Well, I know who the cryptocurrency activists are in Tennessee.
Okay.
You know, like I know Kenny Kelly, not Kenny Kelly, but Kenny. Anyway, he used to be the YAL state chair in Tennessee, and I know Eric, and I know Richard Esparza from the Patriots of Tennessee, and all these different people. Like they are your cryptocurrency network, so to speak.
So did they lobby for this, or was this something that
they don't seem to be particularly concerned about it? You know,
they're not concerned about it. They're not for it. They're not against it.
It's feeding, like I said, it's feeding.
Is it a show bill to show?
Yeah, basically is what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
we're just feeding something to the masses, so they'll shut up.
We're a modern state. We're not, backward Hicks. Like we're portrayed to be.
It's more like it's more like the anti-Sharia bill. You know, like in Tennessee, the anti-Sharia bill was we're going to copy paste the Patriot Act, and and we're going to call it the anti-Sharia bill. And what it'll actually do is it'll outlaw private contracts and enforce the Patriot Act at the state level. But it was one of those things. It's like we're doing this so that we can say we're doing something. There were real problems in the state that needed to be taken care of, but instead, I've got this constituency at the Eagle Forum, and they have a lot of people that all they do is they're old retired women. They call my office every day and threaten not to give me money if I don't push something. I got to do something. Well, this is something.
I don't know. I like what we did in New Hampshire with the, get government out of the crypto arena. I mean, it wasn't smart contracts specifically, it was crypto, but
yeah.
It was obvious. It's like, what does this bill do? And it takes the authority of the banking department and it removes it from regulating any kind of crypto business. But
all right. Well, now we do have another caller on the line. We've got Kyle on with us from Minnesota. And Kyle, what do you?
Hi. So you were talking about cryptocurrency.
Yes.
I feel that the government's always going to try to be modern, as you see with TV channels. We always have these 60-year-old men saying, "Oh, we can be hip and cool." So talking about cryptocurrency, well, here I am, a young kid who is growing up with cryptocurrency. I'm saying this is a big gamble to buy cryptocurrency. I'm not sure why they're making a law. I mean, they do have to have laws, but cryptocurrency can be the future, because as you see in books about the future, in Ready Player One, the book, they don't get paid. The main character doesn't get paid for his action figures in dollars. He's getting it paid in the game's credits. So my point, I don't understand why these executives of the top of the government are trying to appeal to the cool and hip millennials, and people are saying, "Oh, it's going to be the next big thing." This always happens. It's a fad, and fad is just another letter away from fate. And what's going to be huge and then it's going to crash. And also with Bitcoin, it's also used on the dark web, so more investing in Bitcoin is just going to make the market bigger. So, and there's also other consequences. But
all right, well, we're going to have to cut you off there, bud. We'll be back with the Call to Freedom right.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
You are listening to Call to Freedom's Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार के क्रिप्टो आवर को, जिसके प्रस्तुत करता है Helium.com.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And it is another beautiful day. We are in our crypto hour brought to you by Helium. That's helium with an E.com. And looks like everybody's favorite internet troll is back on Discord again. But we've got some stories here. The government is trying to get involved in some things. New law passed. $1 trillion spending, lots of poking around in your digital life to go along with GitHub finally doing something to poke around in their own digital life. It says here, I've got a story, says the world's largest host on source code, GitHub, boasts 20 million users and 57 million repositories. From traditional tech companies to altcoin projects and ICOs, anyone and everyone who works with code can use the platform to upload and document their latest activity. This enables bugs to be tracked, requests to be made, tasks to be managed by teams that are often distributed around the globe. Because the majority of crypto projects are open source, GitHub also grants the public a means of inspecting the code and discerning the level of activity. Making sense of all those pull and merge requests filed in multiple repos calls for a degree of expertise. However, and preferably some coding knowledge. I mean, one could hope. Otherwise, it's easy to mistake minor bug fixes and document translations for meaningful activity that is significantly advancing a project. Thankfully, a number of cryptocurrency tracking sites now include GitHub information, making it easier to gauge the quality of code that's being produced. Well, news.bitcoin.com has reported in the past on efforts of CryptoMizo and OnChain FX, two sites that track GitHub activity and rank cryptocurrency accordingly. CryptoMizo's results can be filtered based on the frequency of commits over a 3, 6, or 9, or 12-month period. OnChain FX goes further, allowing GitHub activity for crypto projects to be ranked based on stars, watchers, commits, lines added, lines removed. Useful as these services are, they're unable to rank the quality of the activity, only its frequency. Diving deeper calls for turning to someone with a rudimentary knowledge of the code itself. Andreas Brecken's sporadic crapcoin, I can't say it on the air, .com reviews, which include GitHub activity, have proven popular but are too infrequent to facilitate real-time analysis. Andrew Cronje has recently begun performing his own reviews of GitHub repos, and their frequency and quality is admirable. While these assessments shouldn't be taken as gospel, as their author admits, they provide a useful reckoning of which projects are just talking the talk and which are genuinely hard at work. On to Tomachain. For example, Cronje concludes, another company that just booted up Ethereum and POA, haven't done anything of value, and are valued at millions of dollars. Chainlink, meanwhile, is summarized, quote, they have an incredibly long road still ahead and of them to finish with their concept. A lot of the work being performed by developers isn't uploaded to GitHub in real time, so lack of activity should not be taken as proof of indolence. Thanks to the work of brothers such as Andrew, however, developers who think they can clone a blockchain, tweak its algorithm a bit, slap a new name and logo on it, and pass it off as an entirely new creation, well, they've got nowhere to hide. This sounds like something right up your alley, Aria. Where is Aria?
I don't know.
She is not muted. It is not my fault this time.
Well, I can certainly say it's right up my alley, and I like to see code reviewed and examined by other people, especially competent people. I mean, it's when you have more eyes on the code, the shallower the bugs are, and
right,
you might actually have a chance of getting them fixed.
Well, that's that's part of the reason why cryptocurrencycheck.org was created. It was the same idea.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of GitHub personally, just because it centralizes all the code, and if GitHub were to go down, kind of like Google's code repository did, you end up losing a lot of good code. It's out there, but certainly decentralization doesn't entirely solve the problem, but decentralization plus replication might, which would be cool. Right now, I know one of the projects that I'm involved in called LibriCMC, which is an embedded software operating system, is basically using a platform called GOGS, which is essentially, it decentralizes, so it lets us host the code as opposed to hosting on something like GitHub, which is somebody else hosting the code. So that's certainly something. But of course, if our instance of GOGS goes down or we go away, who's going to have the code? Whoever downloaded it. But anybody else may not be able to get it. So
what about storing it on the blockchain?
That would be a better solution.
How would you go about doing that?
I understand that there is a solution along those lines. I don't know enough about it. I don't know how far it's come. I don't know if it's usable. I don't know much of. I really don't know anything other than there is something out there. I imagine that Bob Call, the lead developer of LibriCMC and my partner, has looked at it, and I'm imagining it was at the time at least not adequate or did not meet the needs, meet our needs. One of the issues I know with other platforms that you can implement to host your own code is it's not GitHub. Everybody knows GitHub. And so by moving away from GitHub, it makes it difficult for others to participate, and you end up with less participation. So there are downsides to going a different route. And unfortunately, that may be part of the problem with the totally decentralized replicated solution or blockchain type solution. GOGS has actually worked pretty well for him and for that project, so that's good compared to, I'm trying to think what we were using before. I don't recall, unfortunately, but ultimately it was a really good solution, but nobody knew how to use it, nobody could figure it out, and so participation declined. So
exactly. All right, well, when we get back here on the other half, on the second half of the Crypto Hour today, we're going to be talking about the Cloud Act. It was recently passed, it was passed just yesterday. $1.3 trillion of spending, and gives the government a much bigger flashlight to poke around in your digital identity. We'll get into that, and we'll talk about why it's important, what it means for cryptocurrency fans when we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour on the Call to Freedom, brought to you by Helium.com. Unasikiliza Crypto Hour inayohusu wito wa uhuru, imeletwa kwako na Helium.com.
Live from the Verticoin studio, this is the Call to Freedom. It's the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium. 4 to 7 here on LRN.FM. When you hear the faucet, be colorified to get some free coins. This is the Call to Freedom.
That's right. It's the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Joined in the studio today by our tech guy, Mr. Chris Wade from Think Penguin. And Aria, you back with us? I guess she must have had a internet outage.
Sure she's just not muted?
She's not muted, man. I swear to God, it's not me. I didn't do it. I don't know. Maybe TeamSpeak's down. Who knows? But I wanted to move right along here. We've got this story. It is, well, it's the stuff that nightmares are made of for people who don't like their private information being rifled through by foreign governments. Says, well, I've got a few stories here. I mean, it's in news.bitcoin.com. It's in all the tech magazines.
Oh, yeah.
Ether
the EFF
News,
has a big piece on
EFF, it. Everybody's got it.
Yeah.
In the looming shadow of yet another potential government shutdown Friday, Congress and passed and the president signed a $1.3 trillion. Let me say that again. Trillion with a T. $1 trillion spending bill designed to keep the U.S. federal government funded for a year. Oh, wait, never mind. Only through September.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious as a heart attack.
Oh.
Only through September. So the bill here, which passed both the House and the Senate on March 23rd, included a repeal to the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, MLAT, which had previously allowed for the exchange of information between the U.S. and foreign governments when conducting cross-border investigations. These MLATs have now been replaced by Division 5 of the Omnibus Bill, called, quote, Clarifying Lawful Overseas Use of Data Act, or the Cloud Act, which drastically expands international law enforcement powers. Originally a standalone bill, Senate Bill number 2383, the Cloud Act was introduced by Senator Orrin Hatch of Utah and Representative Doug Collins of Georgia, both Republicans, in February to improve access to stored electronic data by law enforcement domestically and abroad and, quote, for other purposes, end quote. The bill had not received a hearing prior to reappearing in the spending bill. Expanded congressional findings included in the bill are timely access to electronic data held by communications service providers is an essential component of government efforts to protect public safety and combat serious crime, including terrorism. 2. Such efforts by the United States are being impeded by the inability to access data stored outside the United States that is in the custody, control, or possession of communications service providers that are subject to jurisdictions of the United States. Foreign governments also increasingly seek access to electronic data held by communications service providers in the U.S. for the purpose of combating serious crime. Communication service providers face potential conflicting legal obligations when a foreign government orders production of electronic data that the United States law may prohibit providers from disclosing. Foreign law may create similarly conflicting legal obligations when Chapter 121 of Title 18 of the United States Code, commonly known as the Stored Communications Act, requires disclosure of electronic data that foreign law prohibits communication service providers from disclosing. Now the Cloud Act has come under scrutiny of several government watchdogs, critics, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, American Civil Liberties Unions have sounded off on it, quickly becoming a focal point of the national conversation. In the final pages of the bill, wrote EFF's David Ruiz, meant only to appropriate future government spending, lawmakers snuck in a separate piece of legislation that made no mention of funds, salaries, or budget cuts. Instead, this final tacked-on piece of legislation erodes the privacy protection of people around the globe. It was never reviewed or marked by any committee in either the House or Senate, never received a hearing. It was robbed of a standalone floor vote because congressional leadership decided behind closed doors to attach this unvetted, unrelated data bill to a $1.3 trillion government spending bill. Congress has a professional responsibility to listen to the American people's concerns, to represent their constituents, and to debate the merits and concerns of this proposal among themselves. This week they failed. I mean, are we really surprised?
No. This is just typical. You're not going to get legislators into power who will make any difference whatsoever, because both political parties, which the majority feel they have to vote for, don't do the bidding of the public.
Well, not only that, but people are more worried about voting against the guy that they don't like than finding someone who actually says something that they believe and support in.
You're better off voting for nobody, or at least somebody who isn't going to get elected, than you are for voting for either of the two political parties. You're just going to get more of the bad. It may be more of the bad from A than from B, but it's not like anybody should be supporting either.
The right and the left are going to disagree about your favorite pet issue until Methuselah returns, okay? Just so you know. I mean, just so you know out there, when the GOP had control of the presidency, the Supreme Court, Congress, and the Senate, they had like the most airtight supermajority that ever existed in American politics ever. And what did they do with it? They did not repeal Roe versus Wade. Isn't that their favorite pet? They did not repeal Roe versus Wade. Your favorite pet issue for the last 45 years. You got a full, complete, unassailable majority, and you didn't even mention Roe versus Wade for 2 whole years because you knew that if you mentioned it, you'd have had to do something about it. And then how are they going to get you idiots out there to vote for them over and over again because of their position on your favorite pet social issue. The only time that you ever hear about bipartisan support is for garbage like this. The Republicans and Democrats that argue all day about stuff that doesn't matter a hill of beans to anybody at all. Who's blowing who? Who's marrying who? Whose gun's got the bigger bullet? None of that matters a hill of beans. But they're taking away your right to privacy. Now there's somewhere we can agree.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why you need end-to-end encryption on everything, because with end-to-end encryption, this bill is meaningless. And the reality is we actually have it already in some respects. Now, unfortunately, the programs to which they're being used are frequently untrustworthy, but nonetheless, things like Signal and WhatsApp and similar, from what I understand, have end-to-end encryption. Who are you gonna serve? There's not a service provider that can provide the information that's being demanded.
We've got our own sponsor here, CryptVisor, and that's their thing is even Signal, even WhatsApp, even other places like that, they have centralized servers somewhere that the government can come and subpoena the servers to get the information from the servers. Whereas our awesome sponsors over at CryptVisor, and you can check them out at cryptvisor.network, they don't ask you for personal information. They don't have centralized servers. So if the feds show up and say, hey, we want your servers, everything they do is all on the it's all encrypted on the blockchain. And so you can't come and subpoena my servers. I don't have them. And you can't subpoena the personal information from the servers because we don't have that personal information or the servers to begin with.
Oh, it's encrypted anyway, right?
Yeah.
So they can't, and they don't have the key to decrypt it, so they can't, and they can't provide that because they don't have it. Yeah, and that's what end-to-end encryption is basically. So,
but not like Signal. Again, Signal, WhatsApp, Telegram, all of those, they may have end-to-end encryption, but their servers can be
shut down.
Yeah,
that's a good possibility.
Or subpoenaed.
I don't know about subpoenaed. I don't think they can be subpoenaed, but they can certainly be shut down if there is a central server. Absolutely.
Well, here the ACLU talking about this bill says that, quote, this
radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium.com, on the call to freedom on LRN.fm. أنتم تستمعون إلى The Crypto Hour. يقدم إليكم برعاية Helium.com على برنامج نداء للحرية على LRN.fm.
Welcome here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. The final segment of our Crypto Hour here on this, Tuesday afternoon. Lord, they're all blending together. You know, I had a kid come home sick on Wednesday last week, and it's just been like this nonstop snot, cough, fever thing at my house to where like the days are just blending together. So... but we've been talking about this, it's called the Cloud Act, and it is, everybody in the tech space has been talking about it in the last day or so. It's very troubling to me, Chris. I mean, the bill would permit foreign governments to obtain real-time intercepts, wiretaps in the U.S. pursuant to standards under which the U.S. government is prohibited from wiretapping.
It doesn't seem constitutional to me. I mean, it's a constitutional issue. They have to get a warrant, and if they don't get a warrant, it's not valid.
Oh, my goodness. The Cloud Act was a cumulative effort by legal minds at Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, and Oath, who released a joint statement regarding their support for the legislation. Microsoft President Brad Smith even released an individual statement outlining his company's position on the matter.
What sense does this make at all? Microsoft just fought against the government being able to, the U.S. government being able to subpoena information on its servers overseas in Ireland, I believe it was. I do not understand how you can get all of these companies, which theoretically should be opposed to this sort of legislation, on board to support it.
Okay, here's what I see, right? Foreign governments, Israel and Russia specifically. Let's just put it out there. Israel and Russia spy on the U.S. a whole lot. As a matter of fact, if you ask Israel's clandestine program against the United States is the largest on the face of the earth. No government on earth maliciously spies upon the United States more than the country that we send $4 billion a year to in quote-unquote aid.
Yeah.
That's welfare.
Yeah.
For Lockheed Martin is what that is. Those people collect data using tactics that are unconstitutional, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then turn that data over to the U.S. for use. So now the U.S. subcontracts its data, of course, all under the books, of course, because we weren't really funding the rebels, the Contra rebels. That didn't really happen. Reagan, Iran, none of that stuff in the 80s really happened where we were taking weapons from Israel and funneling them through Egypt into Iran. Like, none of that really happened, even though it totally did.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it'll be the same exact thing with this. No, it totally didn't happen. No, those Israeli companies that Fox News was reporting on 2 weeks after 9/11 and then completely scrubbed the fact that that article ever existed, and if it weren't for YouTube, you wouldn't know that it ever happened. Oh yeah, that 3-part series that ended after the first part where they were like, yes, all of America's metadata goes to this one company owned by Israel. Yeah, they now collect your metadata, go through it, find all the incriminating information possible, then give it to your local police departments, and it didn't actually happen because our government just says that it didn't. That's what I see happening.
Parallel construction. It's known. It's not. I guess they tried to keep it a secret for a very long time, but it's something that is no longer a secret. It was, I believe Snowden was the one who revealed it, but even before Snowden, we had the AT&T case where a guy who was, I believe, a contractor operating inside AT&T discovered that they were splitting the cable, the fiber cables, and sending a copy of it to what was the NSA, I believe. And, well, yeah, they have everything. And it's now being recorded in a data center, in a very, very, very large data center in Utah. I believe it's the largest on the planet. It's absolutely insane, but they do it. And where do you think that information is going? What do you think they're using it for? They're pulling data out and metadata out of it, and metadata is important because it connects people together, and from those connections you can get a lot done. So they won't allow it into courtrooms because of the parallel construction.
But here we got Harrods talking about these companies, these foreign companies, Verint and Narus, that have connections with U.S. companies and Israeli intelligence, and the ties between those intelligence agencies as well. What's to stop these agencies from working together, and the Israeli government working with the U.S. government, spying on American citizens without warrant, and then just turning the information over? I mean, the very first line in this says, forget PRISM, your privacy's already dead. I mean, that's how, and this is an Israeli newspaper that's telling American citizens, PRISM is nothing, yo.
Yeah.
Our government's been spying on you for years.
The guy, it's true.
We own all your data.
This is nothing new. These programs, I mean, they might have new programs, but they had old programs to do the same basic thing. What is it, the Five Eyes? I mean, you had different countries spying on each other, and then revealing.
This isn't just different countries spying on each other. This is the United States National Security Agency contracting Verint and Narus, both Israeli-owned and operated businesses,
sure,
to collect American communications,
right,
and metadata,
right.
So a foreign government has been tasked with collecting our data.
Yep.
And now we have a law that says that they can collect the data that our law won't allow them to collect.
Right, which still isn't constitutional. It shouldn't be usable. The problem, I mean, part of the problem is that
driver's licenses aren't constitutional, brother. You know, like that's like that's long gone. Bro.
Trying to enforce the law, particularly when Americans are having their finances basically depleted through theft, in my opinion, of your money, basically, of your earnings, of your labor. It decreases our ability as a population to hold government accountable. You can't, well, I mean, even if that weren't the case, it's very difficult to sue. But if the people can't afford to sue their government to try to hold them accountable, the government doesn't get held accountable. The government's never going to hold itself to account. So it is up to the people to do that. And unfortunately, we've allowed the government to take so much of our wealth or so much of our labor from us that we can't afford to do that, or most of us can't afford to do that.
Yeah. Now, this is coming from a 2012 Wired magazine article. Verint, which took over its parent company Comverse Technology earlier this year, is responsible for wiretapping the communication lines of the American telephone giant Verizon, according to a past Verizon employee cited by James Benford in Wired. Neither Verint nor Verizon have commented on the matter. Natus, which was acquired in 2010 by the American company Boeing, supplied the software and hardware used at AT&T wiretapping rooms, according to whistleblower Mark Klein, who revealed the information in 2004. Klein, a past technician at AT&T who filed a suit against the company for spying on its customers, revealed a, quote, secret room in the company's San Francisco office where the NSA collected data on American citizens, telephone calls, and internet surfing. Now, you just heard that right. A military industrial complex company purchased a spying company. And there's nobody in the streets with pitchforks and torches.
Do you want to know where some of this comes from? It's from the 9/11 attack, actually. Yep. So it used to be, and there were protections because, let's see, I forget who exactly it was, but basically certain entities, certain government entities were spying on political protests and the leaders of the activists.
That would be the FBI.
Yeah. And so they were not supposed to.
U.S. officials assure Hong Kong that their protest is just one of many issues the White House is staying silent on, and an old guy at a hostel is down to party. This is The Onion Week in Review. Stunned officials from the Marine Conservation Institute announced this week that the past half-century of climate change and habitat loss somehow hasn't managed to take down the parrotfish. Biologists stress that despite destructive chemical runoff, rising ocean temperatures, and overfishing, the persistent little shits were somehow plugging right along like nothing had even happened.
You look at the oil spills, greenhouse gases, and God knows what else we're throwing at them, and you think, yeah, those subtropical should have been wiped out decades ago. But nope, these sons of bitches are still around and doing better than ever.
In other news, a grasshopper is dismembered by a future Supreme Court justice. A man having a great time will soon have to apologize to everyone, and Rand Paul pretends to be asleep so his dad will carry him in from the car.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, March 27th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,348 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,955. Antiwar.com reports U.S. military involvement in Yemen doesn't often get a lot of attention, and that's by design. Involvement in the Saudi invasion, despite being well documented, is increasingly controversial and has the Pentagon on the defensive with opposition in Congress. But joint U.S.-UAE operations in Yemen are something different, as they focus not on fighting Shiite forces, but on the Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula forces in the south. These are not wholly disconnected conflicts, as the Saudi invasion and the focus on the Shiites gave Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula the opening to seize substantial territory around the country. U.S. officials are eager to hype the UAE operations because they're against Al-Qaeda. Defense Secretary James Mattis presents the operation as a model for the region, and other officials try to present it as vindication for U.S. involvement in Yemen. The Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula fight, however, is more drone strikes than naval blockades, starving millions. The UAE is also very eager to hype this cooperation, saying it proves the majority of their own military forces that the U.S. is willing to cooperate with them so closely. The UAE has been spending massive money increasing the military size and looking at more regional wars, conflicts they probably envision U.S. will also be involved with. As far as the current partnership goes, there is little reason to believe the U.S. won't be up for more wars. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Linda Brown, who was the center of the Brown v. Board of Education case that helped desegregate public schools in the United States, has died. She was 76. Brown was 8 years old when her father, Oliver Brown, attempted to enroll her in a whites-only public school near their home in Topeka, Kansas, but the school denied her entry and said she had to go to the blacks-only school further away. Oliver Brown responded by filing a lawsuit against the state, which was then joined with similar lawsuits in several other states before the cases appeared before the Supreme Court as the landmark Brown v. Board of Education. In 1954, the Supreme Court ruled in the plaintiff's favor, saying segregation is a denial of equal protection of the laws. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. Reuters reports an emergency fuel shutoff switch had been accidentally tripped moments before a fatal crash of a helicopter in New York's East River on March 11th, according to a pilot speaking to the National Transportation Safety Board in a preliminary report released on Monday. The Eurocopter AS-350, chartered by Liberty Helicopters of New Jersey, crashed, killing all 5 passengers after a private photo shoot trip over New York City. The pilot, who escaped, also told the NTSB that the engine trouble started shortly after a passenger slid across the seat and leaned back to take a picture. The pilot also said he saw part of a passenger's restraint harness underneath the switch as the aircraft was going down. The pilot said he was committed to impact, and when he reached down for the emergency fuel shutoff lever, he realized that it was in the off position. The NTSB said the pilot told investigators that as the craft was flying along the eastern side of Central Park, the front seat passenger turned sideways, slid across the double bench seat towards the pilot, leaned back, and extended his foot to take a photograph of his feet outside the helicopter. The engine trouble began shortly after that, according to the pilot, who also said he briefly considered landing in Central Park, but there were too many people. The FAA on March 16th ordered an end to all so-called doors-off helicopter rides unless passengers are equipped with quick-release restraints. 2 of the 5 passengers died at the scene, and 3 were taken to local hospitals where they died later. Officials said they had been tightly harnessed, and their harnesses had to be cut and removed to free them. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The Surgeon General warns teens the cinnamon challenge is not for pussies. Taylor Swift is now dating the Watertown boat, and a middle-aged funeral director buys a flashy red hearse. We pity your pathetic dependence on this for your weekly news, but here we go anyway. This is the Onion Week in Review. A study released this week by the National Institutes of Health confirmed that for the 25th straight year, wolf attacks remain the leading cause of death in the United States. The Human Health Agency's findings confirmed that being viciously killed by a ravenous wolf claimed the lives of over 800,000 Americans last year alone, with researchers adding that one person in the United States dies every 40 seconds from a violent wolf attack.
The mortality rate associated with wolf attacks vastly outstrips the death tolls of cancer, stroke, and chronic respiratory disease. People should know that anyone... Oh, Jesus, no.
This is the Onion News Network.
You're listening to The Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
تستمتعون إلى برنامج نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.FM.
Here we go, off the rails. You know it's time to raise ourselves. It's freedom like you never knew. You're back.
All right, welcome back here to the final hour of this live broadcast on a Tuesday of the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, and I'm joined in studio today from Think Penguin by our tech guy, Mr. Chris Wade. And, well, we decided, cloud is not just crypto. Like, this isn't just for people that are into like encryption and that, like, this is for everybody. So we were going to go ahead and continue on with our discussion of the Cloud Act being slipped into the omnibus spending bill and what it means for you as a person, a citizen of the internet, so to speak. If you want to get involved in the conversation, give us a call at 603-283-6160. Hit us up on our Discord chat, or you can call us at LRN.FM on Skype. So, Chris, you've got some more information here on how this is going to work, not in theory, but actually in practice, possibly.
Yeah, basically. But before I do that, though, I just did want to say, finish what I was trying to say before I got cut off. So 9/11 was basically the excuse that government used to enable the different government agencies to share people's data with one another, which goes back to the whole parallel construction. And prior to this, the agencies were actually not allowed to share data because of abuses of civil liberty activists such as Martin Luther King. So we've basically totally undermined our law, and they're basically trying to keep from the defendants the fact that they've illegally obtained data, and even though it may have been legal to share, it's not always legal, and they don't want to give the defendant any opportunity to, actually, say, hey, this isn't actually legal. Anyway, so going back to the how this is going to work in practice, I got a little piece from the EFF here, which is absolutely, utterly scary. So London investigators want the private Slack messages of a Londoner they suspect of bank fraud. The London police could go directly to Slack, a U.S. company, to request and collect those messages. The London police would not necessarily need prior judicial review for this request. The London police would not be required to notify U.S. law enforcement about this request. The London police would not need a probable cause warrant for this collection. I mean, that's just absolutely scary. Predictably, in this request, the London police might also collect Slack messages written by a U.S. persons communicating with a Londoner suspected of bank fraud. These messages could be read, stored, and potentially shared, all without the U.S. person knowing about it. The messages, if shared with U.S. law enforcement, could be used to criminally charge the U.S. person in a U.S. court, even though a warrant was never issued. So this isn't just for people overseas. This is actually going to impact people within the United States. And this is just absolutely scary. The bill has large privacy implications both in the U.S. and abroad. It was never given the attention it deserved in Congress. I don't know what to say. I mean, the idea that basically entirely gets around warrants. I mean, they basically said, we don't need a warrant anymore. You're not.
Well, we've got here, it's not just the United States. It's not just Israel. You've got here, according to The Guardian, the government communication headquarters, Britain's intelligence agency, secretly collected information from the world's largest internet companies. So you've got Britain can also do a little spying on us. All of this, again, done with the tip of the hat, wink of the eye of Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple,
what they're
Yahoo.
going to and what they're going to do is the parallel construction, the way that's going to work is they're going to bring this to court and say it was an anonymous tip, when that anonymous tip was obtained by, say, London, not needing a warrant, getting the information, and then London police tip off the U.S. police, and that's an anonymous tip.
Yeah.
It's parallel construction.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. It is illegal.
But they don't. Again,
this is unconstitutional.
Like, driver's licenses are unconstitutional, though. I mean, like, who cares?
Yeah,
we passed Constitution. The Constitution is like this thing that Americans talk about that is like, it's a documentary in our history.
It's a historic thing. It's not something we have today.
Nah, man. We've outgrown the Constitution. Ask any Democrat.
And try bringing it up in court.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does not go well.
They get angry.
They will yell at
you.
They will throw you in jail for bringing it up.
Question my authority by using the law of the land. How dare you point out that I'm violating the very law I've taken an oath to uphold and protect?
It's
just the truth, man.
They will throw you out of the courtroom.
We live in today,
and they will continue. They will continue that trial without you, and they will convict you.
And they wonder why we have school shootings.
Yeah,
I mean, really, in a society where morality is so thin and so flimsy, to think that a person could get angry and think, well, you know what? I just have a right to go kill a lot of people. I wonder what event in American history would give an individual the impression that, you know what, somebody did something to me, and you know what, I think I'm just going to go kill a bunch of people. What event in American history? Let's see. The Lusitania, where our government knowingly and purposefully sent a civilian liner filled with weapons. By the way, the manifest later showed that it was also, they were using them as human shields on the water. And that's what dragged America into World War I. So there's one right there. Let's see. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, which never even happened. There's two. Where we justified murdering millions of Vietnamese and Cambodians, and conscripting. I'm sorry, if you conscript a man and send him to war, that's murder. If you do it under false pretenses, that's even, like, I don't know what's worse than murder. Like, what is worse than, like...
I can't imagine genocide?
Like, morally.
Maybe genocide.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, how can you... I wish there was, like...
I don't think there is. I mean, you can try and say, oh, well, this is more, I don't know, disturbing, but I don't necessarily know that it makes it more...
morally wrong.
Right? Yeah. It's like
you sent men away to die.
What do you have that's more precious than your life? Nothing. I mean, people can bring up emotional issues, but I don't think that's... I don't agree with the idea that there is anything more.
And the funny thing
terrible.
is the left of all people, like, I'm not a fan of Trump, man, by any stretch of the imagination, but please, can you not come up with something better than didn't want to go murder Vietnamese children in the jungle for the American government? Like, well, he's a draft dodger. Who gives a damn, yo? Like, give him a medal for not wanting to go rape Vietnamese kids and set their bodies on fire.
Those are the people who did the right thing, the people who dodged the draft, so to speak. They did the moral thing.
Trump is evil for 1,001 reasons. He's done 1,001 immoral and disgusting things. But if you're going to attack him for something as a liberal, I mean, Jesus Christ, come on, man. You guys are supposed to be the, quote, anti-war party. And the way you will attack someone is, oh, well, he dodged the draft. Man, who cares?
Good for him.
I wish everybody had dodged the draft. The best war is the one no one's willing to show up to fight. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's coercion. It's one of the things the government does. They're very good at coercing people to do the government's or the bidding of. I shouldn't say government's bidding because it's really the bidding of certain elite individuals and organizations and industries. That's really who's writing the laws and making the decisions. And
well, I mean, you just heard me say Boeing bought the security company it was an Israeli company that was spying on Americans.
Yeah.
And Boeing purchased it. So now the same people that are profiting from our wars are spying on the American public.
Profiting from our spying.
That couldn't go wrong. No way. I don't see the possible ramifications of that coming. No.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. आप सुन रहे हैं स्वतंत्रता की पुकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ LRN.FM पे।
Back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. Come on up and spend some time in our crypto community here. We've got a great opportunity for you to do so coming up soon. Well, you guys have been to PorcFest, or you've heard about PorcFest probably on Free Talk Live if you're a longtime LRN listener. Well, you remember how PorcFest used to be back in the day when it was fun? I mean, when it was first starting? Well, that's ForkFest, basically. It's a decentralized event. You can join liberty-minded, voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians this summer from the 14th through the 18th for ForkFest 2018. It's at Rogers Campground, so it's the same place that PorcFest's held at. It's also the same week. So you're welcome to stick around after the ForkFest festivities are over and enjoy PorcFest as well. It's a fork of other camping parties in the woods, and you're invited to come create whatever experience you would like others to have. ForkFest's completely decentralized. That means nobody's in charge. So everybody's in charge. It's up to you to create what happens. Or just come out and relax and hang out with some good liberty lovers in the woods. Learn more at forkfest.party. You can join the forum or the Telegram chat group there as well. Again, that's forkfest.party. So now, Chris, you've brought in another story. We talked about the Omar Mateen thing earlier, and that kind of swayed into this like March for Our Lives gun control thing a little bit. So we hadn't really focused on it very much yet. You've got a story that's coming out where basically it's showing it's not about free expression anymore.
If you thought gun control was scary, this takes it to a new level. So high school students' suspension over gun range photo ignites uproar, potential lawsuit. That's the name of the title. And this is from NewJersey.com, it looks like. A New Jersey school district that allegedly suspended 2 high school students this week over a gun photo taken during a family visit to a private shooting range is facing community backlash and the threat of a lawsuit over district policies. The photo of 4 rifles, ammunition clips, and a gun duffel bag was shared by one of the students on the social media app Snapchat with the caption, "Fun day at the range." According to Lacey Township resident Amanda Buron, a family friend of one of the students, a screen capture of the image made the rounds among other students and later brought to the attention of Lacey Township High School officials. Buron said the students received a 5-day in-school suspension for violating the school policy on weapons possession. A photo. News of the suspension soon circulated on social media groups for Lacey and quickly drew hundreds of responses harshly criticizing the district's action and its policy on weapons, which many called overly broad. Lacey School Superintendent Craig Wigley said in an email to New Jersey Advanced Media on Thursday that the information posted on social media is incorrect and that private matters involving students cannot be discussed. Basically, they're denying, they're just outright denying the story and using the excuse that it can't, which I'm sure it's true, matters can't be discussed about students, but this just comes off as being ridiculous. The decline to say what aspect of the account posted on social media is inaccurate. And if you actually read the policy, we're going to read the policy in a minute, you're going to find that the policy itself is absolutely ridiculous. So regardless of whether or not this, what happened is actually what happened, it doesn't matter. The policy is ridiculous. We are not at will to contradict public opinion on the internet, Wigley wrote. He declined to be interviewed by phone. Many have called for a huge turnout at the school board's next scheduled meeting on Monday at the high school to protest the decision. A few people noted that the image was ill-timed after the school shooting in Parkland, Florida that killed 17. Page 2. Thousands of students around New Jersey staged walkouts and held school programs on Wednesday in response to the shooting in Parkland. The controversy at Lacey High School has drawn the attention of a New Jersey gun advocacy group, which sent a cease and desist letter to the district threatening a lawsuit if its policy remained unchanged.
For real, how is it not free speech? I mean, if
it is free speech. Even if it had been done in school, it's still not. It's still you have a right to free speech on school grounds, unless it's disruptive.
1984 Supreme Court decision specifically states that students, even under the age of 18, do not shed their constitutional rights.
Happen on school grounds. This happened at a range, and it's a photo of something that was completely legal for the student to be doing.
So that means that schools are spying on students' social media, or
they are. They absolutely are.
Or do you have little snitches all over the school?
No. There's actually programs that schools participate in to scan social media of students.
That's craziness.
The controversy at Lacey High School has drawn the attention of a New Jersey gun advocacy group, which sent a cease and desist letter to the district threatening a lawsuit if its policy remained unchanged and the suspension of the students was not overturned. The Association of New Jersey Rifle and Pistol Clubs letter cited the rule stating that students could be suspended for up to a year if they are reported to be in possession of a weapon of any type for any reason or purpose on or off school grounds.
This sounds like private
policy itself is unconstitutional.
Yeah, that sounds like a private school. When I went to a private school that we paid thousands and thousands of dollars a year for me to go to,
not a private school,
public school. Those schools, they severely limited what I could do and say, even off school grounds and out of school time. Like if I was seen by a school administrator smoking a cigarette off school grounds on a Saturday, I could be expelled from school because of how it represented the private institution. This is a public school.
Yeah.
It's public property. Your parents pay the taxes.
Yeah. Multiple attempts by New Jersey Advanced Media to reach the students and their families were unsuccessful. Buron said both families are upset at how the incident was handled. Both teens fell behind in advanced placement courses. This isn't even like some kid who is terrible at school, and this is somebody who is at the top of their game, doing well in school, and they're basically ensuring that it's a detriment to their
when I was in middle school, let's say 7th grade, right? David Howard, hi David, because he's actually a listener to the show back in Tennessee. He's a friend. He's literally a lifelong friend. And he was a deer hunt. I mean, like he went and hunted deer before school during deer season, and with his grandfather. And his grandfather would drop him off, and this is middle school, like 7th grade, and he came to school with a shell, not a bullet, just the empty shell, and it was super super important to him. Why? Because it had a picture that went along with it. It was the first time he'd ever killed a deer. And he had killed it, like at the beginning of deer season, our 7th grade year. And he had the picture of him holding the rifle with the deer's head and the shell in his fingers, the whole thing. And he carried it around with him all the time. And we passed it around at lunchtime. And
why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you a sneezer? If you're not, can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download the whole book free. That's how he's making his idea contagious. Click tips, tricks, and other stuff to help you cut through the clutter at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Unasikiliza wito wa uhuru katika LRN.FM.
Welcome back here to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We're broadcasting live from the VertCoin studio right here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. And, well, we're sitting here. Aria had to go. She had a kitty cat emergency. Her cat is sick.
Oh.
The kind that meows. It's sick. So,
that's terrible. Everybody's getting sick here, people and animals.
Yeah, and so she basically had to dip out while we were on the air. Couldn't say. She's like, I didn't even take my cell phone with me. So she's just got back home, and I guess she's not going to be. You're not here, Aria, right? Yeah, she's not going to be coming in. So
well, I got a little bit of the show left anyway.
Yeah, we got like a half hour left. It's not a big deal.
Not at all.
We've been all right without her so far. But yeah, it's me here in the studio as always, and I'm joined like I normally am on Tuesday by our tech guy from over at Think Penguin, Mr. Chris Wade. And Chris has brought a particularly disturbing story in. Basically, here's the policy at this Lacey Township High School. These kids, they posted a photo of 4 rifles and a rifle bag and some ammunition on Snapchat. while they were on a family trip to the gun range with the heading Fun Day at the Range. Now, because of a school policy that says, quote, student handbook declares students are subject to punishment if they are, quote, reported to be in possession of a weapon of any type for any reason or purpose, whether on or off school grounds during an academic year.
That's just absolutely insane.
Now, this isn't, okay, this is not surprising to me, though. In the 90s, I led an effort, because I was 18, they wouldn't suspend me because that would leave them open to lawsuits. And I guess they knew that I wasn't playing games, and they figured they could suspend the younger kids, because younger kids got suspended, like sophomores and juniors who did what I said to do. They were reprimanded. Who wouldn't comply were reprimanded. Those of us who were over 18.
So what happened? What'd you do?
Well, there was a rule in the school rule book at Marion County High School in Ocala, Florida. And basically it said that you could only wear, you couldn't wear religious iconography unless it was in keeping with religions that were approved by the school board, basically. And I asked what that meant. You know, does that mean Christian? What does that mean? And she says, well, you know, Christianity and Judaism. And I was like,
wow,
really? Now, I'm known at the time as the kid who, like, brings the Bible to school. You know, I'm literally a youth minister. And I'm like, wrong answer. This ain't happening. And I organized an effort of students to wear non-Christian and Jewish religious iconography at school. I'm talking like Baphomet, 666, pentagrams, Hindu, Krishnas.
Wow.
Anything that you could find that was religious iconography that wasn't Christianity or Judaism. And
wow.
The school suspended like 7 kids. And I went and I fought with the school board to get that rule changed, because I was like, and I cited the 1984 Supreme Court. That's how I even know that it exists.
Right.
Was because I was put in a position where a school was telling me, you don't have constitutional rights on this property if you're not a Christian or a Jew, if you want to wear a t-shirt or a necklace or something that isn't Christian or Jewy. And I, like, this same school district sent a girl home. Now, this was later when I had just first become Muslim. There was a girl in the high school who converted to Islam, and she was told she couldn't wear the hijab in class until she had a note from a parent.
No. You, as the student, have the right, not your parents. You, as a human being in the United States, have a right.
Would they do that to a Muslim girl who was trying to go without hijab at school without her parents' knowledge? Would they demand a school note? Of course not. They would be like, oh, we're good white liberals. We're helping this woman become.
I would encourage my
kid
to continue to do that, and I would not write a note. And if they suspended, I would sue.
Oh
Absolutely.
God, I would
freaking.
Oh God. They would rename the high school William Coley Public High School.
Yeah.
It would be in the lawsuit. No, you owe me $100,000 and you'll do this, or I'll make it $1 million.
Well, you know, it's interesting. So this school here, in this particular case, it turns out has done other stuff similar that's not that unlike basically what you
I've
experience.
seen this kind of stuff at private schools. Again, though, this was like what the character kind of things, what they would call them. So like if you got in trouble for shoplifting, you would be expelled from the private school because it looked bad, because your name would be in the your name wouldn't be in the local Tatler because you're a minor, but it's still, they saw it as looking bad on the school. If you were seen smoking, because we would go and do things as like a charity group as the school with t-shirts on and stuff that had the school name on them. So because we did that during school hours, you had to act like you were in school when you weren't in school. But I mean, my parents paid thousands of dollars for me to be held under a thumb like that, on top of, what the money they paid in taxes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And again, this is private institutions. This is not a public school that's saying, look, if you exercise your constitutional rights off campus, we will punish you. There will be punitive actions taken against you as a student.
Yeah, I don't know. This is one of these things that's like, I would want to send my kid to a private school, but I wouldn't want to send to a private school that did that kind of thing. Like at the same time, it's like, but sending them to a public school, look, they're already doing it. You know, it's like it's not any better. So.
And this is here's another funny thing. Well, what about Mr. Hogg, right? Like the big mouth ego 17-year-old who's like, you should listen to me like I'm an adult, but don't treat me like I'm an adult, I'm a kid. Saying like, well, you know, I didn't. What the hell, man? Why do I have to wear a clear backpack? That's my constitutional right to free expression, man. Where's he? Where is he? Like, why is he not on TV talking about, well,
what is this clear backpack thing? I think I heard something about this. It sounded ridiculous.
Okay. Clear backpacks have been around since Columbine. Actually, truthfully, I think they were around before that.
What are they made of? What are they, like
it's
plastic?
It's just a clear polymer plastic. It's like, you remember the old Airwalk shoes that were like rubber?
This reminds me of like prisons where they make the televisions out of clear plastic.
Schools are now.
Unbelievable.
But you now, like, okay, when I dated this girl who was a senior at West High School in like 2005, right? And she had a clear backpack and a clear purse.
Why? Was it a popularity thing? Was it
was a school policy. And this was in Florida, in Ocala, Florida, at West High School. So not far from Parkland, you know, just a few hours away, same state, already had clear backpacks. Ocala, there was a middle school there were kids in my neighborhood who went to the middle school. And I used to babysit them on the weekends because their mom had worked for like this big daycare, but she couldn't afford to put her kids in it. Yeah. So I would watch her kids on the weekend because they were the same age as my oldest daughter. And they would just all play together. And they had clear backpacks. And that was in elementary school and middle school because it was for the protection of the kids because of weapons. And I'm
ridiculous.
I saw these originally instituted in the 90s because of gang violence.
The potential for a weapon to exist in a backpack, you're going to make them wear
clear backpacks. And now, like 15, 20 years after I saw the first clear backpack, suddenly it's an issue. Suddenly it's a violation of people's constitutional right to free expression. Taking someone and suspending them from school for going to the shooting range with their parents, we don't have anything to say about that. But now clear backpacks, how dare you? How dare you take away my right to wear around overpriced Louis Vuitton while I'm at school for the school fashion show instead of learning.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Free Talk Live.
I wish you would have answered the question as to what's the age range. I mean, if 2 10-year-old boys are playing doctor with each other, and he was specific that he said it was okay for a boy and a girl to play doctor, which did happen to me when I was that age, but I was 2, maybe 2.5, 3 years older than that girl. Am I a molester? She was the one trying to take my pants off. Should she go to jail?
You know, people like Lou, they get all upset over things like this when they're not even apprised of the facts. And you try to tell them the facts, and they just, since it doesn't fit with their worldview, it doesn't fit with their core belief system, it can't be possibly true that I could have possibly have known what I was doing at that
Children
age.
who are engaged in sex with somebody who is older are being manipulated. That's one of them. And, you know, sometimes that's sometimes that's true.
Absolutely. There's
and
no
sometimes
doubt.
It's not.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
You are listening to the Call to Freedom live on LRN.fm. تستمعون إلى نداء للحرية مباشرة على LRN.fm.
Here to the final segment of this Tuesday evening live broadcast of the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. We've taken a meandering trip today. We've talked about the Cloud Act and how, we just passed a law that lets foreign governments spy on us. So, yeah, that was pretty smart. And we also, we've been talking about the Omar Mateen. Turns out the guy who shot up the place in Orlando, his dad works for the feds. And now we're moving on to, it's a little bit of gun control, a little bit of speech control.
Definitely
where
speech
you
control.
have a New Jersey school saying if you are in possession of a gun at any time during a school year on or off campus for any reason whatsoever, you get suspended. They're talking about expelling these kids, like a year-long suspension. This is insanity.
It's such a tragedy. I mean, the economic damage that's going to have to a student's future.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just the damage that happens as a result of being held back a little bit. It's a permanent, long-term damage. Financial damage.
Yeah. Now, on the line, we've got John. He's joining us from Brooklyn. Hey, John, what do you think and why do you think it?
How are you doing today, young man? My grandson just gave me a radio, and I don't think that people understand what happens and when they had Obama be president, it was just out of control.
Hello? I think we have a troll.
I just don't understand what the kids are doing these days because it's all confabulated.
I like the voice.
I do.
I think it's funny.
I think he's supposed to be like the old guy with the glasses on the end of his nose. Like, get out of my damn yard, you mangy kids.
I don't really understand why it is this way, because it's just very confusing to me when I'm thinking to myself, I can't go outside and be safe these days because the window is not safe, and I just think that I need to be able to carry a weapon to protect myself, and people get confused, and I said to Barack Obama, and it's too much for me to deal with.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying, young man?
Do you have anything that you want to actually add to the conversation, or are we done?
I just don't understand why I can't prepare. I just can't.
I think we're done.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Internet trolls on the radio.
Oh, at least
welcome to the 21st century. At least he was funny.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I mean, the voice alone. I mean, normally, like, I mean, that might not have been that funny.
I guess
but
we're supposed to be really, really old, even though, like, I'm under 40 and you're what, like 30, 32?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'm not particularly young.
No,
I'm not particularly old either.
No, I'm middle age. Getting there, yeah.
I'm definitely not old.
Yeah.
Mark's the grandpa in the house.
Yeah,
so.
he's not even that old
He's the
either.
only one, I think, in the house that's over 40, right? Yeah, so, yeah, all the rest of us, we're all kids, man. I don't understand what the, you know. I have 5 children. I have 8. Well, I have 8
I think
children,
there's
but
actually
5 kids that play in the yard still. So
good spread of ages on LRN anyway.
Oh yeah, we've got kids that are like 8. Well, Vincent's what, 17, 18 years old. He's
in college, man. Yeah,
he's on the show sometimes.
Like a freshman or sophomore in college, I think. So
Tom is younger than me. I didn't believe that. But anyway, like this. I guess his argument was you're old. That's convincing. Anyway, so back to the story here.
Yeah, ANJRPC, the gun group, said the bigger issue is with the policy itself. The policy is clearly wrong and violates the Second Amendment. ANJRPC Executive Director Scott Bash said, "We hope that they're reasonable people and they will fix it. If they don't, we are prepared to take the legal action." No, they're not reasonable people, or it wouldn't have been put in there in the first place. The ANJRPC also demanded Lacey school officials apologize to the 2 boys and clear their records. Schools do not have the authority to chill the rights of their students off of school grounds, and this blatant infringement of constitutional rights will not be tolerated. They don't have the right to do it on school grounds too. Bash said, "I don't care if students were disciplined. The policy got to go." Ed Cardinal, whose son attends the high school but was not one of the students involved in the gun range photo, said the district has overstepped in other ways. District officials demanded that his son remove a window sticker depicting it, page 3, a gun from his pickup truck that he drives to school. He was kind of heated about it, and so was I, Ed Cardinal said, adding that they removed the sticker after the administrators threatened to punish the teenager. Cardinal also criticized the school officials for a policy that allows them to punish a student for having anything they consider a weapon, even a dinner fork. As the Lacey resident noted, by law and by morality, the school shouldn't have the right to anything about something that happens off school grounds. Absolutely they shouldn't. Cardinal said the boys were lawfully handling a gun at a shooting range. A spokesman for the Coalition of New Jersey Firearm Owners pointed out that a 10-year-old can legally hunt in New Jersey. Of course he can. I'm sure with the parents' participation there. You're not. The policy is wrong, and
I took a hunter safety course when I was about 10 years old in Tennessee. It was required to get a hunting license to be able to carry any kind of a rifle legally in the state of Tennessee. It was a part of it. If you want to hunt, then that's what you did. And, you know, where I grew up in eastern Appalachia, hunting was how you got food a lot of the times. You know, like we had our farm, but we also did a lot of hunting to sustain ourselves. You know, if if it hadn't been able,
it makes sense when you're living in the middle of nowhere, right?
Well, I mean, if it weren't for rabbit, I mean, it's a 45-minute one-way drive to Walmart, you know,
right,
to get milk and eggs and other grocery items. So hunting was a part of our lifestyle. It was something that was necessary for us.
And you probably got food from your neighbors too, who had farms and things like that, right?
And not only that, but we also had to protect our farms. I'm not talking about the government trying to kick in my door. I'm talking about coyotes, wolves, bears. You have things. My uncle shot Slewfoot, the bear from the Marjorie Keenan Rawlings book, The Yearling. My uncle actually shot that bear because it was destroying his bee farms. He sold honey commercially in Central Florida, and he needed to keep the bears out of his honey. So he needed a pretty big gun in order to do that. And, you know, these kinds of things, it's normal for kids. Like I said, for me as a kid, I sat on the back of a tractor when I was 10, 11 years old and shot cowbirds. It was just a part of life. And my mother hates guns. But if this had happened to me when I was in school, my mother would have lost her mind. Now, we've got Nick on from New York. He's listening to us via Twitch. What do you think, Nick, and why do you think it?
Well, I think it's important to know that you could be sitting next to a shooter at any time. I mean, for example, look at the guy in the khakis with the receding hairline. Look at his ass, bro.
Yay. So just so we understand, the level of adulthood of the left and the right are the same. We have now been proved that. Nothing validates the superiority of your argument like personal slights over stupid things.
Yeah.
I have a moderately receding hairline as well. I just have a thick head of luxurious long blonde hair.
I got no hair up there, and I'm pretty young.
Well, it's because your hair's all curly. But anyway, it's about that time. Tomorrow here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM, we're going to have our normal crew that we have on Wednesdays. We're going to have Aria, Tom going to be in with us. We'll also have Chelsea for the first hour. Let's see here. No real big guests to think about tomorrow. We are going to have the folks from Vert Pigs in sometime pretty soon. But we'll definitely be back same time, same place, right here on the Call to Freedom from the Vertcoin studio. But don't you go anywhere. Free Talk Live is coming up next.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, March 27th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.65 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,348 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,955. Antiwar.com reports U.S. military involvement in Yemen doesn't often get a lot of attention, and that's by design. Involvement in the Saudi invasion, despite being well documented, is increasingly controversial and has the Pentagon on the defensive with opposition in Congress. But joint U.S.-UAE operations in Yemen are something different, as they focus not on fighting Shiite forces, but on the Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula forces in the south. These are not wholly disconnected conflicts, as the Saudi invasion and the focus on the Shiites gave Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula the opening to seize substantial territory around the country. U.S. officials are eager to hype the UAE operations because they're against Al-Qaeda. Defense Secretary James Mattis presents the operation as a model for the region, and other officials try to present it as vindication for U.S. involvement in Yemen. The Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula fight, however, is more drone strikes than naval blockades, starving millions. The UAE is also very eager to hype this cooperation, saying it proves the majority of their own military forces that the U.S. is willing to cooperate with them so closely. The UAE has been spending massive money increasing the military size and looking at more regional wars, conflicts they